Hey, I'm Nolan with MUSKOX. In this video, I'm going to be going through all the stuff that you're going to need to install for the max attach to work, including, some electronic stuff here. Start off on this side, go through, you have a big magnet that's going to be used for this plug. And then you have these smaller magnets that are going to be for if you don't have any hoses to follow with your wiring harness, you can stick to the arm of your machine to zip tie the wire harness to. Have these 3M Velcros, so these are going to be used to attach your main remote inside the cab. Then obviously we got our zip ties here, have plenty of them for you so you can install stuff back in the engine compartment securely, along with the electronics going up to the front. Here's your main control box. It has reprogramming instructions on one side, then has service over here, has a QR code you can scan to take you to videos or a number. And then it just points out where the reprogramming button is on the side here. This is going to be your wire harness. Has the main plug that hooks up to the actuator. Your leads that'll go back connected to the battery. And then also, let's see here, got the plug that'll plug into your control box. Here's a backup remote along with the main remote like I already mentioned, but the backup one that'll be stuck back by the control box as a backup. So if you lose this one or if the battery dies, you'll have this. And then here, we're just going to be using this little lawnmower battery to kind of demonstrate out of the machine the hookup process. It's pretty simple, but you'll be able to get a better view out here with that. So here I'm going to go through kind of the simple process of setting it up. I'm going to hook up my ground wire first. It's always kind of a safe rule of thumb to do that, so you're not grounding out on anything with the positive wire already hooked up. I'm just going to hand tighten this. I don't think we need to get too extreme. Grab my other one here. Hook that up. There we go. And this is actually, forgot to point out, the inline fuse. So if it ever for some reason stops getting power, that's just inside here. You have just a little 20 amp fuse. Cover that back up. And here, all I'm gonna do is just plug this 4-pin plug into the box. Now that's hooked up. All I'm gonna do with this, just go over the top here, hook that up to the actuator. Now that that's done, should be able to see here, when I click any buttons, it lights up. And you can see here our actuator moving. I'll fully disengage and engage. Sounds like I need to grease my pin over on this side a little bit, but that's the simple setup of that. We'll kind of go through a more detailed version on the machine to show you with a Toolcat. It's a little tricky, but we'll show you kind of how that all runs. So just as a reminder, if you are running a hydraulic attachment with your max attach, that the max attach kicks it out about 6 inches in front of you further than what it normally would be. So you'll want to make sure that you have extension hoses. All these are is where you unscrew your coupler off, you screw these back on, and then put your coupler back on this end. Want to make sure that you have the couplers on the same hoses. We have these in a 12-inch, 18-inch, or 24-inch size, so if you need different lengths, just let us know, and we can make that happen for you. So first thing you're going to want to do when you're working in the back of your Toolcat here, you're always going to want to drop your safety bar down here so that your hydraulic cylinder can't collapse and end up crushing you. So just wanted to give you a reminder. Okay, now the first part to the installation is you're going to have your cable like this. You're going to want to, first I like to do, just to make sure that we have the right length, stick your plug into the control box here. Make sure that's fully seated, not going to pull out. And then here on this model with the Toolcat, it's kind of tricky. There's not very many good metal places back here. So what we did, we already have one pre-installed. Just stuck it back behind these hoses here, zip tied to those. It doesn't need to be super tight. It's just making sure it's not going to wiggle around and fall off. So that there, these leads, you have your ground and positive lead. Those here, again, already have one pre-installed. You can see the ground wire, it's kind of hard to see there, but we just use the actual nut and bolt from the battery clamp. So I'm gonna just install this positive one over here. Just kind of reach here, get that, and grab my nut. And this is just where it's pretty tricky to start, but once a guy gets it on, that's not so bad. There we go. Okay, now that I have that snugged up, just kind of slide this back over. That's kind of how that is. If you really want to get intensive, you can kind of stick that eyelet through the back of this cover here, and then you'll be able to seat that down better. But it's not super important. I'm gonna put this ground cover back over. Now we have power connected up to our box, and then that's where now a guy, if you're installing this, kind of show you, be something like this. You have your leads coming out this way, and then now that you have that all installed, that's where you start the routing process. Again, it's pretty tight on this Toolcat, so you kind of got to feed it up through under in here, and we'll show you on the passenger side where you can come through the tunnel to actually feed that fully forward. So now at this part of the process, you're going to want to come to the passenger side of your Toolcat. There's a panel in here. You just want your Torx bit, a long extension so you can get in at these ones over here and pop that off to be able to pull your cable through. So yeah, now after we pulled the cable through the tunnel inside the cab, you'll see it comes out right here. It's kind of a tricky spot to get to. If you have a fish tape, that can help you out, but sometimes you can wiggle it through by hand and grab it, pull it up through the top here. So now after we get the cable fed from down through here up, you'll want to follow your hoses down. You'll see we just have it zip tied every foot or so. Just want to make sure it's not dangling at all. You follow the hoses all the way up, then down and around, and just making sure that you have enough cable. So that's where I'd plug in first, and then you kind of zip tie and backtrack from there so you can pull slack back. So now that we made it up to the front here, you can see the wires ran down. We follow the hoses that are on the Toolcat, come around. So here we have a magnet that we stick a little further down on the cable. This is just to secure the cable back behind the plate here. So that's stuck there. This one you can kind of pull to move. And then up top here, take our bigger magnet. And with the Toolcat, it's nice to have a little extra wire at the end. So I'm going to put it back behind the heat shrink. Other loaders, you can put it right up by the plug end, because they'll have spots that you can stick them to a step, but the Toolcat does not have that. Got the zip tie tight. Now that we have this, secured onto the cable, for right now I'm just going to be sticking it to here, so it's not getting pinched when we're hooking up the max attach. So here, now that we have the max attach on your quick attach plate installed, we're just going to do the final step. That's where I like to have this magnet down here. You can kind of just plug it in. And now with this magnet, just reach back to a spot where it's going to get held. And like that, you're installed.